Phil the Groundhog has predicted the length of winter for 135 years. He predicted this morning 6 more weeks, unfortunately. 135 years ago, the committee put on the first event to announce his prediction. The ceremony was likely much different than it was today. That effort was necessary for them to figure out what went well, what didn't go as planned, and what they would do differently in the future. It was their first pancake. We'll talk more about the first time you share a product, service, or idea, your first pancake, and more on today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom, good morning. What am I thinking right now? Go ahead.
I have no idea.
You nailed that opening. That was solid. That was like off to the Emmys. You've got it made.
I don't know about the Emmys just yet, but I appreciate the sentiment.
That was something. I was sitting there. I hadn't previewed it, and I'm like, whoa, this is getting heavy. I'm learning something here.
Yes, indeed. Sometimes we have to share some different knowledge. We mix things up a little bit and not just some random thoughts, but something that actually goes along with the day.
And I love that it's Groundhog Day and you worked that in. And also you didn't do the same old thing we've done every day. It was a little different.
It was a little different. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's sort of the thing, is that just like, as I shared, we all start at some point, right? Whenever we choose to do something, whether it's the first day of the job, whether it's first day of school, first day being a leader, first day offering a product or a service, there is always the first. And, I think we've been talking about making pancakes all week. And so I thought that it made sense to share it. So we'll get to that a little bit in a moment. But thanks, everybody, for being with us on today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast, where we try, I guess we do have a conversation around the topic. Today's topic is making pancakes. And today's topic is, the subtopic is your first pancake and the value that it provides. And we'll get to that in just a moment. As we go through the show, if you have some thoughts or ideas you'd like to share and you are watching this on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or
LinkedIn Live. Sorry, I totally was still thinking about your introduction.
Okay. Please feel free to share it in the comments, because we know that it will add to the show. And at the end of our show today, Bob and I will each add our one thing, our antidote for the day, that may help you today or help you somewhere down the line when you are struggling with something and you are looking for that value to make a difference. You might remember what we shared today. So if you have one thing that
you can also always go back and watch.
Correct.
An episode from like 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago. There are ways to do that.
Yes, indeed. You can easily find that on our podcast. You can scroll down through the list of topics and pick out the one that you need in the moment. If you're listening to the podcast, we'd love for you to do two things, because it's hard for you to comment. It's almost impossible to comment while you're listening.
You can yell at your exercise bike or your elliptical or scream in your car.
You could do that. Or you could share it with a friend or a family or someone who you think might be looking for some value in their day and you think this might be helpful to them. The other thing you could do is rate our show so that more people see it.
5 stars. I got the 5 fingers up for the visual people. Not
well, that's for
the podcast people, but what the heck?
Okay. Well, you said it for the podcast people so that they know that you are holding up 5 fingers.
I'm going to work on not putting the 5 fingers up anymore.
Okay.
That's going to be my improvement for the week.
Okay. Excellent. It's been your first couple of pancakes that you've tried that. And so we'll just continue to make progress. Anyhow, feel free to share your one thing. If you are listening to the podcast, you could always come into our Ring of Renegades Facebook group and share your one thing or any thoughts you have about the conversation today. So we know that there are people in there looking for how to take their next step along their own unique pathway to success. So hopefully we will see you inside of there. Now, let's get to the show. 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 Now, let we'll get to what is always one of the fun parts of the show. And the way we start every morning with the show is our celebrations. Bob, what are you celebrating today?
I'm celebrating the generosity of people. And there are 3 people specifically within the Ring of Renegades who have done an amazingly nice thing for me in the last couple of days to make something happen for me in my personal life that really assists me in a lot of ways. I don't want to go into the details, but really generous, kind, selfless, all 3 of them. And I am really honored that people do those types of things. And it translates to the business sense, because when you have things more settled in your personal life, I think it helps your business because you can focus more. And it's easy when personal life gets in the way to not be fully focused on business stuff.
I like that. I like that a lot. Excellent. Good.
How about you?
Here. Well, so I am going to celebrate the fact that I have an opportunity to do a speaking presentation coming up. A group that I presented to at a conference this past fall had mentioned that they are always looking for people to do workshops. And so I am going to do a version of our From I Wish to Success, the Renegade Way workshop with them. And I think that for those who haven't participated in it, it's a chance for you to get your dreams and ideas that you think about and yet feel like they're a million miles away, an opportunity to really get them out of your head onto the paper and see that you might be further along than you think. So I'm excited about that opportunity. I think it's going to be February 28th or 21st.
Nice.
The date. And a number of people who work in the nonprofit sector. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome.
So what are our Renegades celebrating today?
We got to celebrate Groundhog Day, Tom, because it represents a reality that we have in business. Sometimes it's going to take 6 weeks longer to get to where we want to go. Sometimes it's going to happen right away. And my experience is you don't know which it's going to be. If we had a groundhog that could tell us, are we going to figure out what we're trying to do in 6 weeks, or are we going to figure it out today? I would love to have that animal come at 7 a.m. every morning and say to me, hey, Bob, this is a day you're going to accomplish that thing. The reality is we're kind of in the middle, and sometimes it doesn't even happen in 6 weeks. It could be 12 weeks. It could be 12 months. It could be 2 years. And so I think as we look at Groundhog Day, and people are apparently, a lot of people lamenting the fact that we have 6 more weeks of winter, that's 6 more weeks to really work on things. And does the groundhog really control us? Or can I, in my head, say that it's really not winter? I could go out and play golf. It's cold, but I could go play golf. I'd rather play in the summer, but I have that ability. So I think there are a couple messages in there that really, for business leaders and owners and team leaders, there's a lot of, when you're a team leader and you ask people to do something, their first reaction is this going to work? We don't always know if it's going to work. It's going to get us closer to something that will eventually work. But I know I've been in meetings where it's like someone says, hey, we're going to do this thing. It's like, are you kidding? You've thought about this? This is what you guys did in that big room for 3 days? And then it works or it doesn't work.
Sure. So you want a prognosticator?
Yes. Shocking.
Well, my dog does bark a lot during our show. So we might be able to have him come down and point his nose at, is it going to be a good day, or is it going to be, you're going to accomplish this thing today, or is this going to be a day where maybe you are not as effective as you wanted to be?
If the first bark is on an odd minute, it means you're in trouble. If it's on an even minute, you're in good shape.
Sure. And you can always learn from all of it. The beauty of, if you haven't had a chance to check out our Renegade Day Pack, where it gives you a way to look at your day, that's a great way to do that, because every day we give you a chance to look back and understand what went well, what didn't go as planned, and what would you do differently. And I think that allows us to get away from the judgments that we have about the effectiveness of our day and focus on those things that we did accomplish and what we learned as we went through it. So if you're interested in learning more about the Renegade Day Pack, you can go to our new app, the Renegade Success Network. It's available on Google Play or the the App Store on Apple. That's such a hard. Why
Yes.
didn't they come up with something easy? Because you
Yeah,
can't really
the
say
Apple
the
App
Apple
Store is hard to say.
Yeah, you don't go to the Apple Store to get apps. Whatever. Anyhow, it is
Isn't really a
available
store.
there. Correct. And really, that was part of our part of the ideas around this week's topic, making pancakes. Was Bob and I? It's kind of a case study discussion around us putting together this app and what it would look like. And currently, we are in the first pancake of that app, where we have made it, put it out there, given people a chance to decide what they think and give us feedback. And we would love if you would be interested and want to download it to do that as well. So let's dive into that as we talk through our case study. Let's talk about making pancakes and your first pancake, Bob.
Well, I want to preface this by saying that this applies to anything you're trying to do that's new. So this isn't just about creating an app. This is about leading a team in a new direction. This is about starting a new product or service. This is about launching a new website. This is about going into social media and deciding that you're going to do stuff in Instagram. This whole 2-week case study is designed to give you some insights. We're using our experience with the app as a guide, but it can apply across the board. Because I was listening to yesterday's episode while I was driving, and I didn't feel like that was crystal clear. Okay. Because it sounded like we were just saying it. I almost felt like if you're trying to build an app, here's the path. But it's not just an app, it's anything new. So I think the thing I really think about when we talk about that first pancake is the first pancake is not always the best pancake. It's not formed real well. You know, sometimes you have to add stuff to the batter to make it the right consistency. Sometimes you don't. Do I leave it on for another 30 seconds? I've burned the first pancake. I've undercooked the first pancake. And that's what we do in business and as leaders as well. We burn it, or we don't we don't manage it well. And the result is often that first pancake has some glitches. We were going through our app, yesterday, the day before, and we were finding a couple of things. And it was like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe we can play around with that. And that's part of the process. And I think what so often happens is we start with this idea, we're going to launch something new, and it's going to come out of the gate perfectly. There's no building steam. There's no let's figure it out as we go. And that tends to bite us, because then when we get the feedback that can be so helpful to improving it and improving what we're trying to do, now someone sees what our idea is. Oh, wow. Okay, you've got that app, guys. That's really great. But I downloaded it. I thought it was going to do this thing. Why doesn't it do this thing? And we could be upset and be like, hey, you know what? Step off. It's our app. We'll do what we want. Or we can be the other way. Tell us more. And I think when we go into that tell us more phase, that's when you can really find something that isn't just your vision as the creator of something, but the collective vision. And anything that's successful in the marketplace, any team that's successful, it's not the leader's vision. It's not one person's vision. It's not one team's vision. It's the team and the people being served coming together. And the phase where you do that most often is this first pancake phase.
Absolutely. Well, and I think it just tells you a lot. It gives you a chance, as you said, to check the batter, to check, do I have enough oil? Is the oil hot enough? Is the griddle hot enough? Does it stick or not stick? How much do I pour of the batter? It's all those things that go into it. And I think, we found from some of the people who were early participants who tested our first pancake that there were some things that they would have appreciated. It's a virtual way to plan your day, the program that we offer within it, so that you submit online here's what your plan is for the day, the important things that you're going to accomplish, and what you learned. And some of them were looking for something that they could actually write on. They were looking for a physical calendar that they thought would be a nice addition to the program. And I think that was really helpful information, is a reminder for us that not everybody is ready to do everything on their computer or on their phone, and that having something that they could actually physically write on would be really beneficial for them. And I think that was really helpful feedback for us to get as we start thinking about, okay, now that we have this, what can we do differently? And I think it ties in perfectly with, the questions that we always ask. I was talking with a friend of mine, did this presentation yesterday, and she was kind enough to send me a little video that they had of it. And I watched it, and my first thought was, here's a couple of things that I could offer as feedback. And I decided that wasn't what she was necessarily asking me to do. And so I have that. And if she wants to know, I would provide feedback. Rather, what I did was I asked her to say, did you ask yourself the 3 questions? What went well? What didn't go as planned? And what would you do differently, as a way to learn? And I think as we think of any action we take, one, I love the fact that if you have done a first pancake of anything, congratulations. Celebrate that you took that action to put it out there, to let others evaluate it, to give you feedback. Because that is, in and of itself, is an extremely difficult thing to do. And I think we forget that so often. We forget that there was a lot of work done to get to the point where you put it out, no matter how people react. They may think it's, new Coke, and we've talked about new Coke before, a brilliant idea by somebody, and they put it out there, and it was a bomb. And yet, hopefully, while they might have been upset at the person who did it because the results weren't what they expected, I hope that they celebrated, hey, we've launched it. Now let's see what happens. And now that is something they can't control. Others are going to respond based on their own knowledge, experience, and perspective. And so the fact that you put it out there is worthy of a celebration. And you can't celebrate too long, because then you want to think about what were the things that you wanted to evaluate, so that your next pancake and the one after that and the one after that and the one after that might be more to what you were expecting. And sometimes it takes a lot of pancakes. I don't want to dive into that because I have a feeling that's coming up tomorrow, or as a part of this conversation tomorrow. So I just think that it's really beneficial for people to make sure that you don't delay for too long that first pancake, because the information that it can provide is very beneficial, no matter how many people. And it's interesting, the program that we went through to help launch this app, there were people who launched it and no one ended up buying the product within it. And I think that you could see the frustration within the community that was discussing it. And I think that could easily lead people to be like, well, this was just a complete failure, waste of money, time, effort, and energy. If they took a moment, the fact that they put it out there was their first pancake, and knowing that they didn't have everyone's knowledge, experience, and perspective to make it absolutely what everyone was absolutely looking for. Look, view, message, all of those things. So now there's a chance to change. And it seems like maybe there was a chance to change what was their marketing, which is another piece of it. And then we talked about this on yesterday, about the griddle. Did we warm up the griddle enough? And did we have a big enough griddle for all the pancakes we wanted to make? And so I think that those opportunities to put it out there gives you a great chance to learn and then figure out what to do next.
I'll give you an example, Tom. Here's the book, The Renegade Way.
Yes.
I wanted to give it one more edit. I wanted to make it perfect. And I don't remember how we came to a conclusion, but it was like, you know what, let's go with it. And there are some typos in here. There is a sentence that 2 people have told me doesn't make sense. And I could be very upset about that and go, oh, we have 82 more copies of this book. I'm going to throw them in the trash and start all over. But we've also gotten feedback from people going, the information here is really valuable. And so they can overlook the typos. They can tolerate those slight mistakes that came along the way, because they recognized that it was, in a way, a first pancake.
So wait, are you saying you're not perfect?
Yes.
Just curious.
Wow. It's amazing what you take from what I say.
I just was, and I think that's the thing is so often we expect perfection, right? We spend a lot.
And if you put a book out there with your name on it, this sits on a shelf. I can't go everywhere this book is right now. I can't go and go, hey, wait a second. Let me take that copy away because there's a typo on page 9 and give you this copy with the really good page 9. It's out there forever.
Okay.
But that's also true of everything we do. Right?
Yes.
That app is out there. The things that we say, the business card that we agonized over, the email campaign that we did. Once it goes out the door, it's out the door. But I will tell you, Tom, that I had some first person who told me that she found typos in here. It really threw me. I have not gone back and read the book cover to cover since it got published. It's on my list of things to do.
Okay.
Don't.
What?
Don't.
I was just smiling.
I know you're smiling. But it's also, I'll be curious when I go back to it, will I want to make changes? Because this is Bob 18 months ago. And will I want to add new knowledge, experience, and perspective to it? And will I say, you know what, here it is. And you see this with books all the time where the second edition has, like 5 pages at the beginning where the author says, hey, here's something I discovered in the last 3 years.
Yeah, I think that's your option, right? I mean, I think
Right.
that there's the choice of, or maybe there's the Renegade Way Part 2.
Right.
I think that is the, and if you had waited and had 18 more people read it and picked up those couple of typos, maybe somebody would have phrased a sentence differently. There's likely still going to be out there people who they don't find value with it. They see it as not what they expected. And I think that's, to me, that's the piece of it. We can worry about that, right?
Yep.
You could, and that could keep you from ever writing another book, is that, you know what, as much as I looked at it, as many
Or sharing this book with the public. I could just keep them in the box. Hey, I'm sorry. Yeah, I have this book, but yeah, I'm not really comfortable sharing it with you because there's a typo on page 9.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, I see a comment there, Tom. Can you put the comment up? I'm trying to make sure I know who said it. I have a hunch.
Great episode. I have next on my calendar today, Griddle, apply pancake making to my LinkedIn strategy. I like that. Prepping the world for product I'm launching in a month. Thanks, boys. You're the wise, fun, odd couple.
That is Danny yet again. Yes. I love the wise, fun, odd couple. So who's?
So are you Felix or Oscar? Who are you?
I was going to say, we need clarity around that.
For younger people who don't know what we're talking about, that there was a show on TV. I think there was a movie called The Odd Couple, and they were two very distinct personalities.
One was a total slob, and the other one was a neat freak. One was plan everything down to the minute, and the other one was a little looser.
I have a feeling that I'm probably Oscar, right? Felix was the more type A person.
Yes. Felix had everything planned down to the second. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and Danny, I love the fact that you're going to use this with LinkedIn. I mean, I think it's a great example of, you know what, I haven't delved into something the way I thought because likely I wasn't confident about it. I was uncertain that I had the perfect batter, the right griddle, and putting it together. And I think that, but you know what, this is a really great statement. So I will interrupt my thought to say they loved and tolerated each other.
Are you saying you tolerate me?
I didn't say that. Danny made this comment. That's all I said. I think you tolerate me. That's what I think.
There's an element of that. As I heard myself say you, I was like, oh, yeah, that word's not the worst word sometimes. But not during the program. What people don't realize is that there's an after program that Tom and I do. And lately it's been longer than the program, where Tom has been helping me find my way in life.
We just
And
have conversations.
it's been very uncomfortable at times, because Tom does a really good job of helping me see things that I don't always see for myself. And so there are moments when I'm like, all right, Tom, I need to go. I have a call. I've got to do something. And he's like, yeah, you're getting uncomfortable, aren't you? So that's what's going on in the background.
Correct. So maybe I'll have to go back and watch The Odd Couple again and see.
Oh, it's funny.
What other similarities there are between us. I'm at least glad that Danny didn't say old. He could have added that, rightly so, and that would have been a part of it.
I like wise and fun.
Wise
I'll
and fun.
take wise and fun.
Absolutely. But I think going back to the point was, there are things out there that we maybe haven't done because we don't feel like we have the right recipe, or we don't have all the ingredients or whatever. And, you find a way. It's kind of like cooking. Sometimes you don't have every ingredient you need, and you create a different first pancake or something else. And you're like, interesting. That actually was maybe different. You might say better than the last, or you'd be like, yeah, that can't do that again.
Right.
So I think that, if you have those things that you're thinking about that you haven't yet tried, that you're worried about making your first pancake with, we'd love to have a conversation with you about that, to help you figure out how to get out of your head and how to be comfortable with the first pancake, and that the reality of what the first pancake is. So if that's something that you're interested in, please reach out to one of us. You can message us. You can direct message us. You can always email us at ringleaders. No, sorry. I forget the email.
Let's do the easy one. ringofrenegades@gmail.com.
That's the one I was thinking of.
You can also, if you haven't done it, join the Facebook group, the Ring of Renegades.
That's a great easy way.
There.
Easy way to
access other people and ask them, hey, what was it like when you did your first launch? What was it like when you did your first email?
Yes.
It's a safe space.
There is always a spot for that, and we would love to help you, because I think the world needs more first pancakes. Because once you do the first, you're going to help someone inevitably, and they will provide you feedback that allow you to help more people.
Is that your one thing?
I was just going to ask you that.
No, you just said the world needs more first pancakes, and it's going to help someone. Is that your one thing?
Or
are you going to do the 2-1 things again? And
I'm going to reserve the right to add another one thing, because I wasn't necessarily thinking of that, but I'd like to hear yours.
Okay. I think my one thing is that first pancake is, in fact, the first pancake. This book was the first shot at this. It covered a lot of ground. And as I looked at it, a couple months ago, I did skim it a little bit. I was like, wow, there's some really good stuff here in terms of just getting a message out into the world. Is it the definitive answer? No. And I'm already working on another book, and you're working on a book around some of the themes within the same thing. So acknowledging that the first pancake is just the first pancake allows you to say there's going to be a second pancake, a third pancake, a 58th pancake. And as you create more pancakes, you're going to get better at it. No one makes an omelet the first time, flips the thing, and it's perfect. You got to practice that. That's an art.
Sure. So the show could have been about making omelets.
What's that?
So the show could have been about making omelets this week.
Could have been.
Well, I think that's the beauty of it, right? Is that there it is. Pancakes is just an example of all the various things that we do. And what I love about the example is that it is a real life thing. It's not a work thing, even though it definitely relates to work. And I hope I didn't cut you off from finishing your one thing.
No, you're fine.
All right. I am going to go back and say that my one thing is that the world needs more first pancakes. You have amazing ideas, things that will change someone's life that you might never even know that it did. And yet, people sometimes are afraid to make that first pancake. So I want to encourage you to put your first pancake out there and learn from it.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us today. Danny, thanks for your comments. And if others have comments, please feel free to put them in the chat. We do go back and look at these and respond to them if necessary, or if people would like.
If necessary, what does that mean? That makes it sound like we judge them.
Well, there might not be a response that we have for it.
Oh, okay.
Unless it was just like, we like it. I guess that's a response. So we appreciate it. There is no doubt about that. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyhow, everyone, thanks so much for being a part of our show. We look forward to seeing you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. It's a great place for you to get together and meet others who are, the interesting thing about that group, they're a lot more like you than you would imagine. If you're one of those people who are struggling to create that, there are people in there who are doing the same thing. There are also people in there who have taken and made their first pancake, and they can share their knowledge, experience, and perspective around that. And so if that's a community that you think you would like to be a part of, that you would think would add value and that you might gain value from, just go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades, and then you just have to ask to join and tell us why you're a renegade. And then you can become a part of this growing community where we are helping people take their next step along their own unique pathway to success. So with that, we look forward to seeing you inside of there. Maybe we'll see you being active on our app. You can download that. Or we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of Today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone.
Hey, embrace the renegading you. And happy Groundhog Day. 6 more weeks. Oh.
There are a lot of people, I'm sure, who are excited about 6 more weeks of winter.
I guess.
And then there are others who are like, not going to judge it. Now I know. What am I going to do differently?
Now I know what some rodent thinks.
It's a really cute rodent. We did watch. Liz, my wife, loves watching that show. And I found myself enthralled.
The morning show or the movie?
No. This morning. We had it on the Weather Channel, and they popped over.
I've never watched that. I've only seen it in the movie with Bill Murray, which that movie is hysterical. It
is a, you know what? It's a tradition that they love, and they clearly love. There are mobs of people.
Oh yeah,
it's a
big deal. There are generations after generations that go.
Absolutely. So
in all weather, one year it was snowing like crazy, and
don't mock it.
I'm not mocking it. I think that's great.
You should next year watch. Maybe we do live on site next year.
That's what I was going to say. That would be the program.
That would be an antidote for something. All right, everyone. Go out and have a great day. We will see you soon. Thanks for listening to today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.